February 28, 1993. The Branch Davidian compound near Waco, Texas, has now been under investigation by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms for 9 months. That morning, Kevin, Mark, and Heather Jones are in the main building when their father runs in to warn Branch Davidian leader David Koresh about the ATF raid. Within seconds, there's gunfire from both sides.
So I remember, going in my room, getting on the floor, waking up my brother who was still asleep, and I remember my dad coming in for a minute and told us, stay down.
We looked out the window and we saw the cattle trailers coming down with the trucks. We got down on the floor.
I just started hearing all these loud noises, like hitting off of metal and stuff. I climbed backwards to get off my bed. As soon as I got off my bed, a bullet had came straight through the wall where my head was just laying.
9-year-old Heather is upstairs, sharing a room with a mother and child.
I was hearing everybody talking and screaming, running. I mean, it was just everything all together at once. And then I heard her scream, and I heard her fall back on the floor and looked out, and she was laying on the ground, and there was blood everywhere.
And here's Perry Jones, which is David Jones's father. He's crawling up the hallway on his hands and knees, screaming that he's been shot.
I heard my grandpa. He started yelling and screaming. He was begging David to kill him because he had been shot. He was shot in the stomach, and he couldn't bear the pain, and he was yelling and screaming, "David, please, please, kill me, shoot me."
Perry Jones soon dies of a gunshot wound.
I remember looking around the room and counting bullet holes. I mean, they had told us the Babylonians were going to come, and there's going to be this big battle and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, they're here,
After 2 hours of battle, a truce is declared.
Now, who am I speaking with?
This is David Koresh.
Okay, David.
The Notorious. What did you guys do that for?
What I'm doing is I'm trying to establish some communication links with you.
No. Let me tell you something.
Yes, sir.
You see, you brought a bunch of guys out here. We told you we wanted to talk. How come you try to be so big all the time?
Already, 4 ATF agents have been killed and 3 Branch Davidians. Many have been wounded, including David Koresh.
Want to see one of the holes here? Here's one of them.
How could this have happened?
I don't believe that anyone expected bloodshed at Mt Carmel on February the 28th. The ATF was used to raiding dope dealers. They did not understand that the people inside Mt Carmel do not think like ATF agents and dope dealers and the rest of us. They saw this attack as having theological meaning. They thought the army of Babylon was coming to get them.
I'm not here to defend or to support ATF's decisions.
The people inside, the rank and file Branch Davidians, I don't consider them to have been evil. I consider them to have been totally deceived. But as of about 9:45 on the 28th of February 1993, they went from innocent, deceived people to murderers. They opened fire on ATF in the face of lawful warrants, and the rest of it just continued to spiral down to one of the most unmitigated disasters and tragedies in the history of this country.
Byron Sage is brought in as the chief negotiator for the FBI, now in charge of the standoff.
If anyone in that building was innocent, it was the children. So the overwhelming priority was to get those kids out, and that's what we started to do early on.
Can I get 2 kids now?
Well, as soon as I get my tape finished.
How about now?
Well, that's not what we agreed on.
I'm just asking you.
Like I say, are we going to send some mothers out with these children?
If you
now,
could.
that's going to take some work on my part.
Okay.
In the afternoon of the first day, we started getting children out. And that was an extremely good sign. We tried to get them all out, David's response was he wasn't going to send them out. He would send them out 2 by 2. Everything was biblical. Everything was 2 by 2, as if they were coming off of Noah's Ark.
And it looks like a child. It looks like a child in the back of that van.
I got up and I turned on the TV and they started showing Mt Carmel. I mean, it was like I just kind of went into a trance, and all of a sudden I was like, I can't go to work. I said, I don't even know if my kids are alive or dead or what. That was the hardest thing. I didn't know anything.
The FBI agrees to broadcast Koresh preaching over radio in exchange for letting more children out. Over the next few days, 18 children are released by Koresh.
They're handing them something. Looks like maybe a child or an injured person.
But Kiri Jewell, removed from Mount Carmel by her father a year earlier, sees a pattern.
He was sending out kids that he didn't even really have that much emotional attachment to. They weren't his kids. For him to get his message out there, that's what he cared about. I don't think that they had any intention of coming out.
More than 20 children and almost 60 adults are still inside Mount Carmel. On March 3rd, 1993, Mark Jones is approached by his aunt, one of Koresh's wives.
My Aunt Rachel had come up to me and asked me, do you want to leave? And I said, oh yeah, I don't like getting shot at.
Leaving the battle also meant leaving his father.
He just, gave me a big hug and told me to, be good, and they love me, and, they'd see me later.
The next day, Koresh permits 11-year-old Kevin to leave and join his brother.
I figured that somehow it would end and everybody would come out.
Heather Jones was the last child asked if she wanted to leave Mount Carmel, but she wasn't sure she could leave her dad.
I don't think I really realized that he would not be coming out with me, because I would have stayed. I really loved my dad. I was really, really close to my dad. So it was pretty hard.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, Heather. I saw you walk up to the gate. It took you forever.
I know.
Was you warm enough in your coat?
Yeah.
Yeah. You be a good girl. I'll see you, okay?
Bye-bye.
Bye. I love you.
No one realized that the siege would continue for another 6 weeks.